ago, fantasy sports leagues were your favorite office competition. Played all season long in hopes of winning a little bit of money from your coworkers. Fast forward to the present, and daily fantasy sports leagues have emerged as a lucrative billion-dollar industry, according to Philip Wall's article in the July 2016 edition of the Phi Kappa Phi Forum. Daily fantasy sports leagues are essentially normal fantasy sports leagues, but are shrunk in the time span of 1 day or 1 week instead of an entire season. These games can be accessed on your computer or played on an app on your phone. In September 2015, scandal broke out within the industry when Ethan Haskell, an employee at DraftKings, accidentally published and promptly took down proprietary information that could have been used as an unfair advantage over the other players. This would have been seen as an error, except 1 week later it came out that Haskell won $350,000 at a similar competition at rival FanDuel, according to the New York Times article, How the Daily Fantasy Sports Industry Turns Fans into Suckers by Jay Caspian King, published January 6, 2016. This immediately grabbed the attention of the public and the government after cries of insider trading rang throughout the media. And the FBI, New York Attorney General, and the Department of Justice began investigations. Although 2 weeks later, they found that he had locked in his lineup before the information was released, the damage was already done. Within 3 months following the initial scandal, multiple states banned DraftKings and FanDuel from conducting business there. This has shone a light on a glaring problem in an industry that has had few government regulations and sparked a debate on the legality of daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy sports leagues are arguably just a new form of online gambling that is based on luck, not skill, leads to match fixing, and may cause unforeseen effects on society, such as the increase in gambling addiction, and should be illegal or face tough regulations. Online gambling is nothing new. The original online gambling game was online poker that was successfully made illegal in the United States after Congress passed the Unlawful Internet Gambling Act of 2006 that prohibited banks from processing transactions from online gambling, according to Green's article from the St. Mary's Law Journal. The Unlawful Internet Gambling Act of 2006 left one loophole that made an exception in making bets on how individual players perform, just like the sort of bets in daily online fantasy leagues. This opened the door to the creation of FanDuel and soon after DraftKings. Today, these two companies control an alarming 95% of a $1.5 billion industry and is growing at a rate of 41% each year, according to Jim Pagels' article published in Reason 2016. Not only have these two companies grown exponentially in the last few years due to a loophole in the legal system, they are backed by some of the biggest names out there. In 2014, FanDuel and DraftKings signed a partnership with some of the biggest sports organizations, including the NBA, MLB, and NHL, along with ESPN and numerous NFL teams, cementing their position in the sports world. With such close ties within the sporting community, an increase in fixed matches are bound to become more prevalent in the near future, with such vast amounts of money that stand to be made. Online sports betting is already a growing problem worldwide and may soon draw more revenue than ticket sales and advertisement for major sports. In order to be successful and make a profit playing daily fantasy sports leagues, you only need one thing: luck. Although 90% of traditional players spend less than $50 each season, the odds of seeing any sort of return is slim. This is because the game preys on new players who don't realize that they are most likely matched up against top players around the world the majority of the time they bet, a term called bum hunting. According to Jay Caspian King's article in the New York Times in 2016. These top players use scripts and algorithms to submit thousands of draft picks at a time to exponentially increase their odds at winning the pool. FanDuel and DraftKings have argued that since a small percentage of players continually win big, it is the ultimate game of skill. This is simply not true. In order to make your return on your bets, you have to win about 53% of the bets you make in order to beat the 10% service charge FanDuel and DraftKings take out each time, thus making it virtually impossible to make any money without bum hunting. FanDuel and DraftKings have made feeble attempts in leveling the playing field after users started complaining, but they ultimately ruled that they would allow some scripts as long as the company approved them first, so that the usability of some players could be increased and improved, according to King's article in the New York Times, 2016. Essentially, this meant that they were going to accommodate some players in order to ensure that they continue to spend vast amounts of money on their websites. Without this money, this website would not be able to fund the payouts of prizes each week because the average player does not spend enough money, therefore causing them to grossly overestimate the prize, resulting in a loss of profit. Unless you work for a daily online fantasy league or one of the few elite players, it is purely luck if you happen to win big because the odds are so grossly stacked against you. With the rapid growth and popularity of daily fantasy sports leagues, the behavioral effects that it will have on society are unknown but probable, according to David Sachs' article in the U.S. Times Magazine from 2016. Gambling addiction was recently added to the latest edition of American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. The collaboration between Daniel Wang, Ryan Zapalock, Frederick Grieve, Julie Patridge, and Jason Lanter talk about the increasing legalization of sports wagering in a paper released in the UNLV Gaming Research and Review Journal in 2015. They go in depth about how this may impact the fan experience in a negative way, after conducting a questionnaire on fans to find out their perspective of the impact of sports wagering becoming more prominent in their sports viewing experience. They found in groups that had betted on sports before, the effects were thought to be greater. With access to online gambling available in the palm of one's hands thanks to smartphones, the rate of gambling addiction is likely to increase in upcoming years. Left unchecked, those daily fantasy sports leagues will continue to grow. They are just a new form of online gambling that is based on luck, not skill, leads to match fixing, and may cause unforeseen effects on society, such as an increase in gambling addiction, and should be illegal or face tough regulations. Until lawmakers can decide what to do with this industry, we should take a stand against it and choose not to participate in a growing problem in today's society. Only once it can be controlled and regulated and lawmakers decide that it's legal should we play.